right, Mohd Ali Shah is on the broadcast with us as well at this point. Major Shah, what do you make of this? Because one side is saying that they do not look at people through the lens of religion. This is just a little girl who joined the yatra. But BJP is making a big allegation saying it is appeasement by the Congress party, and especially comes at a time when hijab has been in the center of a lot of storm.
No, I feel there's no harm in getting a photograph clicked with anyone. Everyone has a right. There is no issue in that at all. There's no harm in that at all. And if a photograph goes viral, that's because people want to see it, people resonate with it or they echo with it. That's the only reason. And now, no, one should not politicize anyone's religion. One should not play politics based on anyone's religion. That's one thing. Now, secondly, I have never been in favor of the advisors of Rahul Gandhi. I don't know who advises him and what they advise him and why he, by that advice, if he's an intelligent man, he should not. But here in this regard, despite the fact I do not hold the same opinion as the advisors of Rahul Gandhi, in this regard, I say there's no harm. I say it's plain and simple, there's no harm and no one's trying to appease anyone. No one will get appeased by a mere photograph. And let's take it logically, Rahul Gandhi is not in power. He has no power in fact per se. So even if when you have no power, then you cannot even try to forget about minorities. You cannot appease anyone. Nobody will get appeased by you because you have no power. There's nothing you can give or take for anyone. So now, when he gets clicked by anyone, by a little girl, by an aged gentleman, boy, girl, anyone, that's perfectly fair enough. That's fine, and I see no harm in that at all, to be very honest.
All right. Major Shah says there's no harm in posting such photographs at all. Major Shah, you earlier said that you see no harm in this, but this photograph cannot be seen in isolation because it comes at a very specific context. It comes at a time when the case is in the Supreme Court. For months together, we've seen protests over this. We've seen the High Court judgment come out. So can this actually be seen as completely innocuous and in isolation?
A very good question by you, a very, very logical question in fact. And see, it is our perception, how we see things. Whatever color of shades we wear, we will see the world in that color only. If I wear blue shades, I will see the world blue. If I wear red shades, I'll see the world red. So a photograph like this, you are right, it cannot be in isolation. It's at the time when the case is pending in the courts, yes. But again, as I told you, there's no harm. You have a right to click anyone. But now how we see it as, in what lens? That, oh, we're trying to appease someone. But the question is, will anyone get appeased by Rahul Gandhi, who is not even in power, getting clicked with a minor girl, the small girl wearing hijab? I think no. I think people have enough senses, enough brains not to get appeased by that. And he cannot appease anyone, let me tell you that. Now, secondly, again, we cannot see this picture in isolation. I don't see...
No, Major Shah, I'll stop you because it's not just the Indian context. It's also global. There's a global context. We see protests happening in Iran right now as we speak. And at a time like that, when an Islamic country has erupted in protests against the hijab, we see a little child being used here for politics, so to speak. So there's not just a national context to this, but also a rather global context.
You have a very, very good point over there. But then, again, I would say it is not being used for politics. That's what I see it as, because that is the lens, that the frame, the specs, or the color that I am wearing. And so I'm seeing it as a non-political thing over here right now. Because yes, you're right. Because in the global context, my appreciation and my congratulations and my heartfelt feelings come out for the Iranian women who have been bold enough, brave enough to come out and protest. And I think anything which is imposed, forced, thrust upon you should be opposed, should be protested against. And that is what's happening in Iran. Now, when it is coming back to Indian women, well, if hijab is imposed on anyone, I think it should be opposed. It should be protested against. But if a lady is wearing a hijab out of her own free will, I think it should be respected, because it requires a lot of courage. Again, in India today, when women come out to wear hijab out of their own free will and their own free choice, because of the global issue that's happening about the hijab. not just in India, but in Iran, and people are coming out in solidarity with the Iranian women, and they must. In fact, not just women, even men. The entire humanity should, the entire race. I mean, the gruesome murder, the gruesome killing, the gruesome death of a 22-year-old lady in Iran, unacceptable completely. And thereafter, the efforts to recover. See, it's basic logic. Anyone who dies in anyone's custody, nobody will own up. Nobody will have to be brave enough and say, "Oh, that person got died because the person was tortured." They will say, "Oh, the easiest thing is heart attack." Very simple, plain and simple. Within a second, the person left the earth. So, in that regard, I would say, when you said it's a global context as well, the color of shades that I am wearing, they are very neutral, they are very, very transparent, and I do not see any harm in it. I do not see it as a political thing over here. But at the same time, yes, I would also say that,
All right, so you see no harm in it. But